All right, one more short video for you, just to kind of tie some things together, because this has been, I describe it as a bit of a memoir. When we started this journey, going down, having conversations with people outside of our church community, people inside of our church community, it's a bit of a practice on something new. Someone a couple of weeks ago said that hearing the story of Diane, that was the first time they had heard some of the inner workings of what happened with the sale of our building. First time they had heard that. They've been a member for a while. Some of you said with the conversation with John just this past week that you heard some important words that you're glad somebody named. It's just been a wonderful place of connection. When we do these videos, and this is something that Jay, the guy behind the camera, and I have been doing for the last 3 or so years, we have learned that in this relationship of story building, that things become stickier is the language that we use. Meaning we live life and we have these experiences, and as we go along, we have other experiences that kind of put themselves in place of, and we move on. Putting things in video sometimes gives us a chance to slow down, to view things a little bit differently, for them to be a little stickier in the story building of our lives. I wonder what it's going to be like after these 6 videos or so in a year or 2 years or 3 years from now to go back and look through some of these, to hear some of the conversations that were had. I wonder how many of these pieces of our conversation that we've built upon over the last 6 weeks will show up in who we are 3, 4, 5 years down the road. Okay, a couple of times I've asked you through this series, what have you learned? What did you hear? What is something that sparked interest in you? Just to name a few for me, when we started out this conversation a couple weeks ago with Brent, that was a wonderful space for us to set in, to see the imagination and the hard choices that are sometimes made for a church community that's worshiping in a school like us, to have a building now that they can go to, but to say for the identity that they've had, for the relationships that they've made, right now is not the right time to move into that. I'm not saying that's for us, that's their choice, but it's an important choice they made. For Diane, hearing that story of relationship with church, even though going through that hardship with the loss of her husband, for saying goodbye to Mike, but staying connected with this community because those people matter. That's a choice. I sit with Amanda and I hear that she has this desire to support her community in places that she sees it is in need. She made an intentional choice to walk forward and support with them in something that she had never done before. I see the conversation with John and I sit back and I think about the love that he has shared with this church and this community, and helping move it along, and being the person that's in the room okay with saying, you know what, this may not be the easiest thing for us to do, but it is the right thing for us to do going forward. That's a choice. With Brandon last week, the same thing. Not giving up the tradition that they have, but just building on top of it, letting that be foundations, but not allowing it to stop the potential of what's coming down the road for the growth of their program and their church and for the lives of their kids. That's a choice. When I look at all of these videos, I think that's what I'm pulling away. The intentionality of making choices. Here's the deal. We have a vision statement now. We have a vision statement that KUMC is going to serve as a heartbeat in the community so that everyone feels connected and worthy of love. That's great. In order to support that and to grow into that and learn what that means, sometimes that's going to be saying yes to opportunities that are scary and strange and different. Sometimes that's going to be saying no to things that we really want to do but that don't fit. You have to make choices. So what is it that you've heard so far that you can latch onto, that you can hold on to in this process, in this time together, and these choices that we make going ahead? What's something that you're curious about how it might fit into this picture of God working at KUMC? Just some open-ended questions for you to wonder about. We'll see what happens down the road. This is another space that we're going to continue being curious about, is how do these videos, these connecting with you and with other people in our community, how do they work into our growth and our life together? So we'll see. But until then, we'll see you Sunday.